This is a short PowerPoint explaining common features of the underclass and chavs, also involving my thoughts, knowledge and reflections, as well as those of other commentators. The term chav was given to antisocial youths by the British mass media at the beginning of the 21st century. They are part of the lower class and often wrongly linked to the underclass. The difference between the two being that the lower class are willing to work and the underclass who are completely unwilling and rely on welfare benefits. The idea of the underclass was developed by Charles Murray, focusing on not the fact that these individuals are long-term unemployed, but their behaviour towards this position. The fact that they do not try to change this by looking for other jobs and are completely unwilling to work to help that economic position. Charles Murray blames the underclass for the rising crime rates, and their protests against work brings about common features which are dependency on welfare, crime, illegitimate pregnancy, drug addiction, and permanent unemployment. This type of poverty is characterised by deviant attitudes towards parenting, work, and crime. It is caused by the overgenerous welfare system, resulting in female-headed single-parent families. Because families are now able to exist without a relationship with men, these illegitimate children lack a male role model and are able to run wild, and so with only an unemployed mother they turn to crime and transgressive behaviour, mainly property crime and violent crime, breaking down community life as males don't want to work and passing on these values to younger males who continue the problem. Murray's solution to the problem is to take away benefits from single parents. They should give their babies up for adoption if they cannot afford them, or take up work, to try and decrease levels of crime as children are brought up in an unstable household. This is where the confusion of chavs being related to the underclass comes in, as illegitimate children are being allowed to run wild and grow up in an environment of antisocial behaviour. It is mainly youths who are seen to be chavs. They are linked with transgressive acts including dull activities such as littering, spitting, teenage pregnancy, hanging around on street corners, swearing, expressivity through dress under consumer capitalism, and taking part in antisocial behaviour. The chav culture is related to modes of cultural domination and resistance. Firstly, it is seen as a mode of abuse and practices of shaming those sections of society who are seen as deviant or dangerous, for example those who wear hoodies and loiter, who are labelled as the chavs. Social class prejudice becomes mobilised around prosecutions of danger, sexual abuse and symbols of success in the form of expensive clothing. And on the other hand, the term chav is used as a symbol of resistance, social difference or violence. Something we may deem to be a chav culture arguably is a reaction to difficulties of white working class identity, community change and consumer capitalism. The incorporation of these expensive brands as a way of solving their problems of occupying the margins of society and to give them the lifestyle they desire. Therefore, although chavs have inhabited the space on the streets and the cultural space in their neighbourhoods, they have actually achieved very little as their behaviour offers no real solution to the problems of long-term unemployment, educational disadvantages and neighbourhood decline. Excluded from formal spaces of consumption, they create their own culture of resistance by hanging out on the street corners and playing up to stereotypes. The chav subculture clearly rejects all middle-class subcultures as well as middle-class values. A big reason for their lack of success is because of educational failure. They are resistant to middle-class values because they are unable to achieve results that the school expects from them, and so express negative attitude to school. Chavs who come from working class seek to gain status through other means, this being a form of antisocial behaviour. As these youths move on to adulthood, they have no academic achievements that help them to get a good job. This results in them continuing their lifestyle of crime and antisocial behaviour. They then have children who are brought up in the same surroundings, and this continues the process. The actions of the youth considered to be chavs on a daily basis can be deemed as part of their lifestyle, which has subsequently led to the increase in the chav culture. Evidently, chavs are not part of the underclass. There are similarities between the two, making it easier to make the mistake. Behaviour in school is poor due to both rejecting middle-class rules. Their primary socialisation is to blame for this. Neither are brought up in an environment where educational success is valued. Reliance on benefits is the way of life for the underclass, who never seek work. Chavs usually work, but because of their poor educational attainment, only low-paid jobs such as McDonald's are available for them. Concluding that the underclass are at the very bottom of the social class hierarchy and only rely on benefits, and the chavs being unsuccessful in claiming status through antisocial behaviour and being shamed by the upper and middle class as deviant, both subcultures resist an all middle class way of life.